Hello, my name is Courtney Schneiderate, and this is my screencast reflection on ePortfolios. ePortfolios give students the opportunity to take ownership of their own learning. According to the National Educational Technology Plan of 2010, student-managed electronic learning portfolios help students develop the self-awareness required to set their own learning goals, express their own views of strengths and weaknesses, and achievements. ePortfolios can be shared with peers, parents, other educators, and other adults, such as a college admissions counselor or a scholarship committee. They have several uses: capturing and storing evidence, student self-reflection, giving and receiving feedback, planning and setting goals, collaborating, and presenting to an audience. I had originally planned on using Schoology's portfolio feature for this screencast. However, due to all the increased user issues that Schoology experienced this past week with the start of online learning, I have found that feature has been disabled. Therefore, I had to move on to Plan B and discuss Google Sites. We did use Google Sites several years ago in my department, as it was a language curriculum goal for students to reflect on the development of their language skills. Several years ago, the Google Sites was in classic mode, and now there is the new Google Sites. We did find the classic mode to be a little bit more difficult, especially in the editing, and students did not have consistent access to devices yet. However, when I made this screencast using the new Google Sites, it was quite easy to set up, and I could see how it would be a success in my classroom. In terms of creative uses, I set up my example in the same way that we did several years ago. First, I started with a home page, and that home page is an all about me page with a paragraph to describe myself, pictures of my family and my colleagues. And then we organized 6 subpages underneath the home page, and those are the 6 themes that the AP German Language and Culture course is structured around. While students would not be taking AP until their 5th year, we start introducing these 6 themes in German 1. And organizing the ePortfolios into these 6 themes is a way for students to understand and cognitively start to recognize the theme of the activity or the assignment that we are doing. If you see in our first theme of globalization, I divided by our levels of German what we do in our curriculum. That would be topics that would be included in each section of the ePortfolio. Globalization, science and technology, contemporary life, personal and public identities, family and communities, and beauty and aesthetics. Advantages of using Google Sites as an ePortfolio is that it is a Google app. There is no need to students to create a new account. Some of the other technologies mentioned in our course readings require students to make new accounts in those programs. Also, the new Google Sites is simplified, making it user-friendly, and especially with its drag and drop editing feature. It also has integration with Google Drive, so students could directly import their documents. When students graduate, they can transfer their items into their from their Google School account, like an ePortfolio, to a personal account. Here is one of our graduates from several years ago. Some examples: here is her All About Me page. And then in particular, I wanted to show the Schreiben page, where she used as a reflection to reflect on what she has learned and how the ePortfolio has helped her to think about what she has learned in the German class. Several disadvantages. More overall, first of all, to ePortfolios in general. While my students didn't complain while making them, they also did not see the applicability of them as a reflection on their learning. This was probably due to me not explaining it well enough and the fact that we only used them for 2 years. While all of our students are familiar with Google, some had not made their own Google Sites before, so therefore there still was a learning curve. I did interview my language colleagues, and my one German teacher colleague said that she found that when we used Google Sites as our ePortfolio, she found it a bit to be a waste of instructional time in the classroom. We try to focus as much time as possible in the target language to practice our listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills, and really we could not speak in German while we were explaining how to set up the Google site, so therefore students were not able to be in the target language at that time. Also, I interviewed our technology lead teacher, and he reminded me of why we only use Google Sites for the first year and moved to Schoology for the 2nd year. The district had transferred over to a new student server, and unfortunately, those Google Sites from the first year got lost. So while I only use Google Sites for 1 year as an ePortfolio, I do see how the new site is more user-friendly and would have value to be used as a collection and reflection tool in the students' language learning path.